Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your curiosity. With us today is a fighter on a 4-fight win streak, amazing credentials, comes from a great background, great gym. We're looking forward to seeing more and more success out of him. He fought in the UFC previously, fought Sean O'Malley. I mean, this guy's accolades are going up by the days, it seems. Ladies and gentlemen, with us in the goddamn room is Kris Moutinho. Kris, what's going on, my brother?
Not much, bro. Thanks for having me on, man. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you for having us. I know you've got a little bit of time, so I'm going to try to make this as fast as possible. So I greatly appreciate you.
Of course.
All right, brother. So reflecting on your journey, looking at, everything that's happened in your life, what stands out from your childhood that you feel kind of helped shape you today?
Again, I had a pretty easy going life. You know what I mean? I'm good family. Nothing really crazy happened. You know what I mean? This whole journey and all this stuff. I just had strong parents, strong people that worked really hard, and I saw that growing up. People that we didn't have much, but they made everything happen. You know what I mean? I never wanted for anything. I never was down bad. You know what I mean? Because of how hard my mom worked and everything else. So yeah, man, it's just stuff like that. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Seeing that and grinding, and you can make anything you want happen if you work hard enough.
Fuck yeah, I respect that, brother. That's definitely the truth, especially coming up from those backgrounds. My mom helped raise me. Luckily, my stepfather came in later, but I can relate. My mom absolutely was fucking killing it, working 3 jobs at one point. I don't know how she did it. Like, I could barely do 2 at a time, so I don't know how the hell she was able to do 3. God bless her. And the best, always mom going above and beyond for us. But you went in transition from amateur to professional in 2016. You were an amateur for 3 years, from 2013 to 2016. And then you had your debut victory at CES 38, which marked a significant milestone. Could you share your emotions and your mindset during that first walk as a pro?
Yeah, man, it was. That's when this shit was still fun. You know what I mean? That's when this stuff was new and fresh, and I loved everything about this sport. You know what I mean? Again, I still love this sport. I still love. There's ups and downs with this stuff, but that's when everything was fresh. Everything was real. You see you're like a little kid, the eyes are wide, and everything. What could happen, and what there's still dreams and everything else. You know what I mean? So yeah, those were one of the greatest moments of my life. You know what I mean? Back then, when I was still fresh and everything, and man, it was real. This stuff became real. Like amateur was fun because it was fake. Like nothing really mattered. You weren't making money. None of it mattered. You could go fight and get your ass kicked, and it just gets erased as soon as you go pro. But as soon as I went pro, it was real. This became a real thing, and I really thought I could make it to the UFC at that point. I won that fight. I went on a good little tear after that, and then yeah, man, it set me up for where I am now. You know what I mean? This has been my whole life, and this is the only thing that I could ever really see myself really doing. I do other things. I have a real job and shit now, and all that other stuff, but this is the only thing that's ever really made sense to me.
Yeah, brother. It just, when you said, like you said before, it isn't 100% real until you turn pro. Did you mean like you didn't take the amateurs, like winning or losing? You didn't take it too seriously. It didn't stress you out as much, and then all of a sudden you turn pro, and it's like this. It's almost like being dropped into a bucket of ice water.
Sort of like it's not that I didn't take it seriously. I mean, I always want to win. I'm a competitive person, and I work really hard at what I do. And I was a 3-time amateur champion. I won 3 different belts at 3 different weight classes and stuff like that. Kind of stuff is cool, but it's like the record doesn't matter as an amateur. You know what I mean? It really doesn't matter. You could win. It's all for experience. You do an amateur for sport to get ready for when you go pro. So it just wasn't real, you know what I mean? As soon as I go pro, my amateur record's gone. It doesn't matter if I won a bunch of fights or not, it just doesn't matter. So that's what I mean by that, you know what I mean? It's not that it didn't matter to me, it mattered to me, but it only mattered to me. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter to anybody else. Nobody cares what your amateur record is or what you did as an amateur. Once you go pro, it's real. They never go away. You know what I mean? If I quit fighting tomorrow, my record's my record. You know what I mean? They can look it up, and that's what it is. So yeah, man.
Okay, I see that. What 3 divisions did you win the titles in? Just so I know.
I fought for most of pretty much all my amateur fights were for Case Titans down here in Mass, and I won. I started off at 125, and then I went up to 135, and then I won 145 as well.
Shit, I didn't know you had fought in 3 divisions previously, man. That's dope. Because 25 seems like the hardest weight cut ever. And it's also terrifying because I feel like everyone at 25 is good at everything. So it's a little bit harder there. And then 35 has a good amount of specialists, and the 45 is just lately we've seen 45 just be like this dominant force. Everyone that goes there, they're like trying to be world beaters and fight everybody at some point. So it's crazy to hear that you've been able to fight at that weight class. I thought you were like a lifelong bantamweight at some point.
No, I was a lot. Well, so when I was younger, I was even smaller. I'm not a big dude. I'm not even a big bantamweight now. So it's like when I was even smaller and more frail, and I fought it. Most my career started. My first like 6 fights were at 25, and then I went up from there. And then I didn't want to. I got lazy and didn't want to cut any more weight, so I started fighting at 35, and then a couple times I get the chance where I don't have to cut any weight and I just fight at 45. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. I cut like 10 pounds, maybe to make 45. It's nothing. So I just get my chances again at the UFC. It wouldn't happen. I'm not going to be fighting at 45 in the UFC anytime soon. So the higher we go up in these promotions, stay in bantamweight, and again I think it's the best weight class in the world anyway. So depth wise, if you go to all the different promotions, is the best bantamweights in the world. So I just think this is where I want to be anyway.
I respect that, brother. That's dope. And yeah, 35 right now has become super competitive. I mean, like, there's a case for every third guy in the division in the UFC, at least currently, to be able to go against Sean O'Malley at this point. Because we're like, well, that guy would pay really well, and that guy's a specialist here, and this guy has that strength, and this guy has this strength. And so, yeah, it's a extremely competitive. I feel like the lighter weight classes have become more and more competitive. Everything from 55 down is terrifying. It's like a pool of sharks every division. I'm like, oh hell to the no, no way, fuck this. I don't know anybody that wants to do this shit anymore because a lot of people are scared, man.
Yeah, 100%. It's tough. It's tough to get your mind to go do this every time. Sure.
I respect you for it, brother. And then, so what are your weight cuts like? Or do you have like a really depleted weight cut, or do you have a scientific approach? Have you like figured out like this works for me, and this will be done, and by the time the week of the fight is, I'm not killing myself to make the weight?
Yeah, 100%. I've been doing this for again. I wrestled before this. I wrestled in high school and then stuff. So I've been cutting weight for most of my life now. A good portion of it, at least. And I've finally I figured it out how to go. And my weight cut's never been really that bad. You know what I mean? I walk around at most 160. Again, to get so it's never really that too bad if I diet right and I do the things I need to do. I'm usually only cutting 8 9 pounds the day before, maybe if that, maybe less sometimes. So it's never been a really bad thing. I got it dialed in pretty good now, and yeah, the last few times have been super easy.
I fucking love to hear that, man, because I know a lot of fighters struggle with that. And I remember when I used to wrestle, my brothers wrestled. My brothers were way better wrestlers than I was by miles. But my brothers, we used to do the Epsom salt bath, and then my brothers would, pull me out and put me under the sheets. And like, I remember that process in high school. Now that I'm an adult, I'm like, that was terrible. What the
Dog.
hell were we doing? Hot water, Epsom salt. And then at one point, you'd be so depleted, you couldn't even move. My brothers would literally just grab me by my arms and my legs and throw me into the bathtub and then let me sit there for a while and then do the same thing, pull me out and throw me back out. So I remember those days, man. Wrestling at the high school level makes you so tough, and so that definitely adds to your game because there are not a lot of guys that want to wrestle. They're pretty fucking gassed out most of the time now. But it looks like in the UFC, everybody has to wrestle, or you're just not gonna make it. So the wrestling background, brother, that shit is always gonna come in handy. But you had a bout against the current UFC bantamweight champion Sean O'Malley, which was a defining moment in your career. A lot of people were like, "Holy shit, this guy's tough! Holy fuck, this guy's awesome." Looking back, how do you perceive the impact of that match on your trajectory as far as your career?
I usually tell. I've talked about this a few times, a bunch of times actually. I've talked about it 1,000 times at this point, and it's I tell everybody the same thing. You know what I mean? It's done a lot of really good things for my life. You know what I mean? It's helped me. It gave me the all the things I have right now. It gave me any pull that I have in to get back, or any chance that I have, the buzz, the name, and the reason right now that my name's blown up after having 4 wins. You know what I mean? If I just was some normal guy that got kicked out of the UFC, 4 wins wouldn't be that big of a deal. Nobody would be talking about it. I think they're talking about it because who I was and what I did in that fight. So I owe that fight. I owe it. I think I'm very grateful for the opportunity. But that time of my life was probably one of the worst times of my life. There were a lot of things going on behind the scenes. All the buzz. I'm a very shy, introverted person, so all that extra buzz that I got from that was a little hard for me to deal with, and something I wasn't ready for. And so yeah, it wasn't a great time for me. It wasn't like all that stuff. And again, people just expect, like, well, even me when I was young, coming up, big eyed, bushy, bright eyed, bushy tailed. You know what I mean? I thought being famous is gonna be amazing. I'm gonna get all these girls, and I'm gonna have all these things. And again, dude, I have a great girlfriend. I don't want no girls talking to me. I don't want no girls near me. I don't want things. Like, I live pretty fucking humbly. You know what I mean? So it's like all these things that I wanted when I was a 22-year-old kid. I don't even give a shit about it anymore. You know what I mean? I got my people. I got my beautiful girlfriend, and I got everything I need already. I just want to be able to fight for the rest of my life. The only thing I really like, you know what I mean? The only thing I like to do about this sport is the fighting part. Like, that's the only time I'm free. That's the only time I'm happy. That's the only time I'm truly at peace with myself. You know, when I'm getting punched in the head and I'm punching somebody in the head, man, all the other stuff is just fodder to me.
You know what? I respect that shit because I love that. That's something that I used to say when I was younger. Was they were like, "What do you want to do for a living?" I was like, "I want to get punched in the head for a living," and people would look at me like, "What the fuck?" I would say, "Well, there's a thing. Sometimes when you get cracked, it almost makes you feel more alive than anything else." And I don't know what that is. I can't speak to maybe what the psychology of it is, but it's fucking beautiful. And I appreciate how you come off, man. You know what? You kind of remind me of the Diaz brothers. You don't give a fuck about the bullshit. You're just like, yo, let me fuck this dude up and let's go. But I would like to respectfully disagree with you on one thing. Not just because you fought Sean O'Malley. I don't think that the 4 fight win streak means nothing, brother. You have stopped 4 different opponents, and you've done it repetitively. And that's the thing. If you were just winning unanimous decisions, then we'd be like, okay, cool. But brother, you've stopped 4 dudes. Got a bulldog choke, a TKO on the ground, got a fucking choke, I believe, another guillotine. Like, brother, it's not like you're not winning in a way that we're like, oh, this motherfucker wants to kill these people. This is great. This is what we love to see. For me, as a fan of the fight of the sport itself, I love what you're doing with your career. You've gone on 4 fights and decided, you know what? Fuck y'all. I'm gonna destroy these motherfuckers. I'm gonna get that check, and then I'm walking out. And again, that's something that we do like. We have seen the mass appeal of a guy like a Nick or a Nate Diaz, where they don't give a fuck about the fame and the bullshit. They want to go fight. They want to scrap. They don't give a shit about the bull, that whole campaigning, and they don't care for it. Shit, Nick Diaz didn't show up to how many press conferences? He didn't give a fuck. He was like, fuck the press conference. I'm not doing it. We like that kind of shit in the game, brother. So you're not without a base where a lot of people would love to watch you continue your career. We do all want to see you come back to the UFC because we think you could definitely take out a lot of the top guys now, especially with the way that you've decided to just like hit that switch. Which reminds me, what is the proverbial switch that you've hit that you've been finishing guys these last 4 fights?
I just don't care anymore. You know what I mean? I don't have any. I think when I really gave a shit about this sport and really gave a shit about being this guy or that guy, you know what I mean? It stopped me from being free. You know what I mean? It stopped me from actually going out there and fighting. I was scared. I was scared to fail. I was scared. I'm still scared to fail. Everybody's scared to fail. I'm not, like, you hear it a lot. You hear it a lot, like, oh, are you scared when you fight? I'm not scared of fighting. I've been punched in the face. I've been beat up. I've been hurt. It's like nobody's actually afraid of the person they're fighting. They're afraid of looking bad or doing or not performing to the level that they know. But I just don't care anymore. You know what I mean? I just don't care as much about even making it back to the UFC. If I don't make it back to the UFC, great, whatever, cool. Like, I'll just fight. I'll fight until I don't want to fight anymore, and then I'll go have a family and do something else with my life. You know what I mean? But if I do make it back, cool. That's great. Like, that's just another. I just want to fight. To be honest with you, I just want to go and go out there and try to test myself against somebody and try to try to prove that I'm the best in the world. Like I thought about when I was a young ass kid, when I was 19 coming up. I'm like, going to the gym for the first time, being like, I can maybe be the best in the world. You know what I mean? I just want to prove my to that 19-year-old kid that I am, man. I've worked my ass off for the last 12 years. I fought fucking everybody in the world, man. I trained with some of the best fighters in the world, guys that have been in the top 10 in the UFC. You know what I mean? I've trained with them and I know what I can do against them, and I know what they. And again, that's not me saying I just beat everybody up. That's me saying I've trained with some of the best guys in the world, and I on good days I give it to them. On bad days I get my ass kicked. But I've been here and I've been training with. I've never gone to a gym in across the country. I've been to many top gyms, and I've never been in a room when I've been like I don't belong here. You know what I mean? I've trained with great killers. I've trained with UFC caliber fighters, and I'm right there with every one of them, man. And I think I can be one of the best fighters in the world. I just got to go in there and get back to UFC so I can prove what I should have proved the last time.
You know, speaking on that factor, I I do think you're going to be back in the UFC in no time. I just the way that you fought, you took on a guy who nobody wanted to fight, period, and then you took him on short notice, and then you fought another dude who was a killer, and you went out there and just showed your heart, and which is something that again I think resonates with real fans, real fight fans. We don't give a fuck about the win loss bullshit. That shit gets old quick. There's a lot of guys that are undefeated, but who the fuck did they fight their entire careers? We have to stare at them and go, okay, that's great. You beat two of the top 10 fighters in the world. Who else did you beat? And then we have to stare at each other and go, okay, so then you didn't really fight anybody. You didn't really go out there and give us everything you had. Brother, every time you fight, we're like, this guy is trying to fucking destroy the other person. He's trying to go for the kill. We respect that and we love that. And I want to see you continue your success, my brother. Hoping that with time we get to see you back in this to the big show because you deserve that spotlight, man. You're one of those guys that you're a fighter's fighter. You're one of you know how Daniel Cormier says he's your favorite fighter's favorite fighter. You definitely have that personality and that contingency to be able to go ahead and be someone's favorite fighter's favorite fighter because you do come in there with like just fucking balls to the wall. You wreck. And I'm sorry that being introverted, you know, and having all that at the same time, that must have been quite overwhelming. Do you feel like now that it's no longer that kind of like spotlight or that kind of pressure, and you said you don't give a fuck at this point, which is kind of great. I think it's a bit liberating. Do you feel like now, if you go back into that big show, do you feel like now I'm like, okay, I kind of know how this shit works. It doesn't really phase me as much.
Yeah, 100%. I'm used to it now. Again, I've had since that fight. It's been three almost 4 years. You know what I mean? I have plenty of experience dealing with people, and again, it's just again, it was the culture shock of it. You know, more than anything, it was just having it happen all at once out of nowhere. Again, if I fought just had the normal run in the UFC, it probably wouldn't have been like that. You know what I mean? It was fighting the guy that I fought, and having all that attention and stuff all at once, and plus other things outside of fighting that were going on in my life, which didn't help the situation. You know what I mean? So it wasn't just all that, but yeah, now I just don't even. It's again, I used to like look at the comments. If somebody was talking shit, I would comment back and try to talk shit. And now I just block. It's just block and move forward. You know what I mean? I just block and move on. If I don't like what you're saying about me, I don't even register in my brain anymore. It's like, oh, block, and then I go on to the next day. You know what I mean? So it's just like it just took time maturing a little bit, becoming a little more of a man, and dealing with myself and dealing with my internal battles. And that's another thing about this whole fight thing that's been changed, man. I deal with myself a lot more. Again, all the losses that I had in my life, a lot of them except maybe two fights where I really thought I was better than the. There was maybe two fights where I thought at the time I probably wasn't better than the guy, and they just beat me because they were better. And the other four losses I have, I just broke. I broke mentally. I broke, and I just gave up. You know what I mean? Gave up on myself. So yeah, bro, it's been dealing with that guy, the little bitch inside our heads. Everybody has them. It's just we gotta not let him talk as loud as he wants to. You know what I mean? And just tell him to shut the fuck up and sit in the corner.
I love that. That's hard. But yeah, you're definitely right. There are times when you're in the middle of something, you're like, fuck, can I do this shit? And then you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Get out of here. Let's go. So I respect that. But can you give us an update on your next potential bout? Do you have anything lined up at this time?
No, I just got done. I'm still a little banged up. My body's a little bruised. I won the fight, but again, he was a bigger dude than me. A little pushed me around a little bit at the beginning. So again, I got a little bruised up, but I'm just chilling right now. Probably, hopefully, I can fight again. once or twice, once or two more times before the end of the year if I don't get a call up. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man. So I'll have something. I'll have something out there in the next month or so, and then we'll go from there.
Absolutely, brother. And as you look ahead, where do you envision yourself in the MMA landscape over the next year or two, potentially?
Hopefully, in my brain, I should begin to call. Hopefully, I'm back in the UFC fighting some killer, some monster, trying to prove that I belong. If not, I'll just keep fighting. You know what I mean? Try to not be a fat ass and fight back at where I'm supposed to be at 135 and just get my diet. That's the biggest thing. That's where I lose my discipline. You know what I mean? Like the fucking eating. I'm a fat kid in here, and definitely in here, I'm the biggest fat kid. I want to just eat cake and cookies and shitty fast food and fucking. I just like to eat. So it's like it is what it is. You know what I mean? I just got to get that on the check in check and make it down to 135, and because I'm too small. I'm too small for these 45ers, man. Even if I get the job done, it's just too much work that doesn't need to be done. You know what I mean? I can fight these 35ers and keep trying to put them away. That's why that's the other thing. I don't want to have these situations where the guy's just big and he can squeak out a stupid decision or some other thing like or make the fight a boring ass fight. I like fun fights, man. I like to finish guys. We should both be just trying to finish, not trying to squeak out wins, man. I wanna finish out, and that's the reason I think again too. Like we said, like I think that's why people like me. That's why people like guys like freaking Clay Guida and Max Holloway and guys that even though they're winning fights, they'll risk everything. Like Max when he fought Justin, you know what I mean? He's winning the fucking whole fight. Why risk it with 10 seconds left to throw down in the middle of the ring? Because that's what people want to see, man. They want to see people that are looking to finish at all times, looking to kill people, looking to murder people out there, and that's what I want to be. You know what I mean? That's why I want to go back to the UFC. I want to get paid, bro. I want to go into the middle of the ring and swing and try to kill somebody. And I don't care if it's me on the other end, bro. Like to kill somebody, you have to be willing to die, and that's where I am, and that's what I'm willing to do out here. And I want those moments.
Brother, we want to watch that shit because I know for sure as a fight fan, that's what I look forward to is seeing the guy come out there and fuck it. Like I said, even if you lose, if you give us your all, we're gonna fucking love you no matter what. And I'm happy to hear that you're that type of dude. I think you were because you went out there and fucking fought a bunch of dudes that were. Your last fight was a bit bigger. I was like, man, that guy looks like he's a whole 2 weight classes bigger than Kris. I don't know what the hell they fed that guy, but I mean, his
Yeah,
rehydration must be great.
that kid fought at 155 a bunch of times. He's fought. His record wasn't the greatest, but he's fought a lot of really talented fighters. Again, he's only lost to some really good fighters. So it is what it is. You know what I mean? All these guys, like I fought guys all different since I've been out of the UFC. Some of them have bad record. A couple of them didn't have the greatest records. The other two were only had a couple losses. One of them was 8-2, I think, and the other one was 6-3 or something. So again, I fought all different levels of talent. You know what I mean? I'm just again, I don't really say no to anybody. You know, whoever my manager offers me, I say yes pretty fast, depending on how fat I am. You know what I mean? And then we go from there. You know what I mean? I'm not again afraid. Like I said it, I'm not afraid of people. I'm not afraid to lose. If I lose, I lose. I'll go do something else. You know what I mean? This is what it is. I'm just here to do what I love until I don't want to until I don't love it anymore. You know what I mean?
Exactly, and that's what we all really want from our fighters, and I'm happy you express that way, man. And also, you know what, dude, you just went out there and beat a guy who's gonna later on go like, yeah, I fought Kris Moutinho one time, and that shit was crazy. I got my ass whooped. So you're gonna get to be that guy soon, in my opinion. But that's again my opinion. That's from the outside looking in because you do have the makings of a great world champion. But ultimately, when you're going through your journey in this career, I know you said you don't give a shit at this point, like you stopped giving a fuck. But do you have like, is there one main goal you really want to reach when you're done with this game?
Just have no regrets. You know what I mean? Like anything else, I just don't want to have any regrets. I don't want to have no stone unturned. Right now, I have a regret. If I don't make it back to the UFC, that's where I left it. You know what I mean? All I get known for doing against the top guys in the world is I can take an ass whooping. You know what I mean? I don't want to be that guy. I have too much. I got too much pride. I got too much ego for that. You know what I mean? that motherfucker's sore right now. My ego has been fucked up, right? And he needs to come out and get some revenge, talk a little shit, and show everybody who the fuck I am. I'm a real motherfucker. Again, I'm sorry I'm swearing so much, but I'm a real ass dude. Like,
You're not to apologize, brother. You're
yeah,
good. Go ahead.
I'm a real motherfucker. Like, people that know me know me. People that train with me know that I'm not somebody that's just fucking easy to fuck around with. You know what I mean? I do this shit, and I've been doing this shit against the high level guys for a very long time. Again, bigger guys, stronger guys, heavyweights, lightweights. I fight everybody. People that know me and know what I'm about. So, yeah, I gotta just get back and try to show people what I truly believe. That's the only thing I really want. Really, I don't really care about world champion anymore. This, that. If I get if I get those opportunities, great. I'll take them for sure, 100%. I love every minute of it. I still want to try to be the best, and to be that, you have to be a champion, and you have to beat the top level guys. And I'm gonna do everything in my power to get to that point. But I just want another shot. I want another shot in the UFC. If my career ends now, I'm proud of myself. But I just don't want. I want one more chance. One more chance. If it doesn't pan out, it doesn't pan out. If I go back and I lose again, whatever it is, what it is, then maybe I wasn't good enough. But that's life. That's life. I just want that chance. I just want that chance. I just want those moments. I just want the ability to give it a real shot. You know what I mean?
Fuck yeah, brother. That's that last ride into it. And we do hope that we do get to see you go into the sunset, ride into that last ride, go fucking ham, destroy everything, leave havoc, and fuck off and be like, all right, cool. I did what I came to do, and I'll walk off the other side of this bitch. Good, happy. But I do, again, just like a lot of analysts and a lot of pros, they're all actually picking you as the next guy to get the call up. They're stating within the next year minimum, they're expecting you to come up. And got a few guys that I know that are pro that are in the UFC, and I was like, hey, do you think he would? And they were like, yeah, dude, he's definitely coming back, because he's fucking just coming out there slinging, just trying to kill these motherfuckers, and that's what we want ultimately. Dana likes guys that finish fights. Kris is definitely one of those guys at this point, because he's finished the last 4 like nothing's happened. So, you've definitely got the respect of the fans and a lot of the fighters. So we're definitely looking forward to seeing that shit come back, and you definitely deserve that run, my brother. But Kris, is there anything you want to let the people at home know before we let you go today?
Yeah, man. I just want y'all to know I love y'all. Thank you for if the guys who hate me and the guys that love me. Thank you for all your support. Because without y'all, I'm nobody. You know what I mean? I want to thank you for the opportunity to come on and talk to you today. It means a lot, man. Appreciate you all. And yeah, just be good. God bless.
Yeah, man, my brother. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your curiosity with us. Kris Moutinho, my man, coming off a 4-fight win streak. The sky's the fucking limit. This guy is one of the best in the world. Make sure to go down to the description of the video. I'm going to link his Instagram, a few of his other socials. Keep following this guy. This guy is a badass. He posts a lot of stuff about his career, and he's consistently moving forward. So if you love it, you want to see more of him, go down to the link in the descriptions. Go ahead and start following my man, Kris Moutinho. Kris, thank you so much. God bless you, brother. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your curiosity, and keep your peace.